MakingAScene.org brings you the Indie Artist Playbook is being rewritten in real time. Welcome everyone to today's explainer. Look, if you're an indie musician, maybe a manager, or honestly just someone who's super fascinated by how the modern music economy actually works, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down a massive, fundamental paradigm shift in how artists actually build sustainable, long-lasting careers.
I want to hook you right out of the gate with a hard truth here. Access is not ownership. And exposure, well, that is definitely not a business model. For the last 15 years or so, the industry has basically sold indie artists this really simple, kind of seductive dream. Just get on the platforms, right? Post every single day, go viral, and success will just naturally follow. But the reality? The rules of the game you've been playing are fundamentally broken. The platforms opened doors. Absolutely they did. But they didn't give you the keys.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the broken indie playbook. Second, attention versus real ownership. Third, the sheer power of fan data. Fourth, unlearning some industry bad habits. And finally, building the direct-to-fan bridge. So, kicking things off with Section 1, the broken indie playbook, the illusion of industry health.
Just take a look at this massive number, $31.7 billion. According to global data reported by MakingAScene.org, recorded music revenues hit that staggering mark in 2025. I mean, that marks 11 consecutive years of industry growth, and paid streaming alone accounts for more than half of that global pie. So, on paper, the music business is doing incredibly well. The money is absolutely flowing.
But here's the stark reality, right? And honestly, it's a question every independent artist really needs to ask themselves right now. How much of that money is actually moving to you? Because a booming industry can still leave the individual artist completely invisible if they don't own their audience. Think about it. You could have millions of streams, literally millions, but if you don't have an email list, an SMS list, or really any direct way to contact the people who supposedly love your music, you are incredibly vulnerable. Streaming is just the top of the funnel now, guys. It is absolutely not the finish line.
Moving right along to Section 2, attention versus real ownership, the digital divide. So, this crucial point becomes super clear when we contrast the old and new metrics of success. The old playbook, it had artists completely obsessing over vanity metrics. You know the ones, followers, streams, likes. But the new playbook is entirely built on permission-based metrics. We're talking your email list, your SMS list, and your first-party fan data. Just think about it for a second. When literally everyone is fighting for attention against influencers, cooking videos, random news clips, an accidental view on a rented platform means almost nothing. These platforms, they're just rented stages. They're just digital highways.
MakingAScene.org makes this brilliant observation. Social media metrics are mostly just advertising metrics. I mean, they show momentum, sure, and yeah, they help algorithms decide what to show the user next. But by themselves, they are not proof of a career. Getting 1 million views on a TikTok video does not mean 1,000 people are actually going to show up and buy tickets to your hometown gig. No way. Those platform numbers are honestly just meaningless noise unless they lead to a concrete fan action off of that platform.
Which brings us to Section 3, the power of fan data, your new career compass. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how it completely shatters the myth that you just need to scale up your casual listeners. Check out this breakdown of Spotify's own data. Super listeners make up just 2% of an artist's monthly listeners. Yet they drive over 18% of monthly streams. And staggeringly, they account for 50% of an artist's ticket sales. That is huge. A tiny, tiny fraction of active fans drives the vast majority of your real revenue. The money, it turns out, is simply not in the massive, passive crowd. So what does that deeper relationship actually look like in practice? Well, here are the specific data signals that show you're really building a true fan base. It's when a fan actually takes out their phone and scans a QR code at your merch table. It's when they explicitly opt in to join your email list, or when they buy a physical piece of vinyl, purchase a show ticket, or maybe join a fan membership. Each one of these actions, that is a massive signal of consent and trust. It proves you're successfully moving a listener away from a platform you have zero control over and into a direct relationship that you absolutely do control.
All right, Section 4, unlearning industry bad habits, shedding the old rules.
We really need to systematically dismantle some of these widely held industry myths. First off, unlearn the idea that an Instagram follower is your fan. Honestly, they aren't yours until they step into your own ecosystem. And we've got to stop believing that just dumping more and more songs into the endless streaming ocean equals an actual career strategy.
Please stop treating the algorithm like it's your band manager. The algorithm literally does not care if your drummer needs gas money for the tour. You have to abandon the idea that going viral is a legitimate business plan. A quick dopamine spike from a viral post is not going to pay your rent. And finally, stop fearing that understanding your own fan data somehow makes your art less authentic. It doesn't.
This brings us to a really empowering reframe from makingascene.org. Marketing is not begging when it is rooted in service. Look, I know so many artists out there absolutely hate marketing because, let's face it, it can feel desperate, it can feel annoying. But think about it this way. If someone truly loves your music, inviting them deeper into a world they already care about is a service. Whether you're offering them a limited vinyl release, a private live stream, or just an alert for a local show, you aren't bothering them. You're giving them an experience they actively want.
And this brilliantly illustrates how every key player in the whole ecosystem has to shift. We have to move away from chasing vanity exposure and start driving direct-to-fan conversion. Managers, they need to stop sweating the follower counts and start building artist-owned infrastructure. Labels have to focus less on just mere visibility and a lot more on capturing first-party fan data. Even publicists can't just chase applause anymore. They really need to build concrete conversion pathways. And venues, they've got to stop treating live shows as these fleeting one-night transactions and actually start helping artists capture direct fan connections right there in the room.
And that leads us to our final section, Section 5, the direct-to-fan bridge, building your ecosystem.
Okay, here is the exact 5-job blueprint artists really need to follow to construct this direct-to-fan bridge. Number 1, build a command center home base that you actually own. Number 2, create fan capture moments at every single point of contact you have, from your live shows all the way down to your podcast descriptions. Number 3, segment your fans by their behavior. Remember, a casual listener is very different from a VIP ticket buyer. Number 4, build tailored offers that match their specific level of commitment. And number 5, measure fan actions over passive views. You want to focus on who actually acted, not just who absent-mindedly scrolled past.
The absolute, non-negotiable foundation of this entire blueprint is this rule right here. Treat your website as the central station, not some static digital brochure. For years, artists just let their websites gather dust, and honestly, that was a huge mistake. Every single TikTok you post, every interview you do, every single QR code you print, they all must serve as a doorway. And all of those doorways, they need to lead your fans right back to an ecosystem, like your website, that you completely control. An ecosystem that is 100% safe from changing algorithms and dying platforms.
So we finally arrive at the ultimate question for you as a creator. Are you ready to stop chasing those empty numbers and actually start building the bridge? Look, it's true, the traditional gatekeepers definitely have less control today. But these tech platforms, they aren't going to save you either. The artists who are truly going to thrive in this next era of the music industry are the ones who step up and take absolute ownership of their relationships, their data, and their community right now.
Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry.